Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm your host, Lydia Patel, and as always, I have a very special guest for you, Mr. Josue Pierre, who's actually running for the 42nd District Leader here in Brooklyn. He'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Mr. Josue Pierre. What was that, Josh?
Yeah.
Josh Pierre, right here in Brooklyn, running for the 42nd District Leader here in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be giving us some great information. A lot is going on, and we're happy to have you here. Kind of give us some insight for our viewers. So, Josh, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I love the program, and I like the fact that you guys continue to try to keep the community informed.
Thank you. Well, that's something we really do try to do, is really let, that focus come in and really edutain. Not just entertainment. We have a little bit of education and politics. If we can't talk about making a difference if we don't inform you and then actively get people to go out there and make a difference. And sometimes it starts at a local level, such as yourself.
Exactly.
Being a district leader. So tell us, you're running for this big position. I call it a big position because at the local level, I think you all have so much work that really do make a difference directly in our lives. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so right now we're in the middle of the Democratic National Convention, and all those people you see sitting there inside those seats and those bleachers that are participating in their convention delegates, to a certain extent, many of them are actually local people like me, who are actually the building blocks of the Democratic Party. So the position that I'm running for, district leader, also goes by the title of Democratic State Committee person. And what you're really doing is you are essentially the leader of the Democratic Party for that assembly district area. And so my district, the 42nd Assembly District, it encompasses the general Flatbush area, Kensington, Midwood, South Midwood, Ditmas Park, and parts of East Flatbush. And
pretty big district.
It is a pretty big district. It's pretty diverse as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a lot of culture. I actually really believe that my district really does a good job of representing the various demographics of Brooklyn. So I look to the people there and the issues that they have and what they say to me and what they discuss to get a temperature of what's going on in Brooklyn in general, and I relay that back to other elected officials.
Oh, that's great. So tell us about how you got started, not just politically. Here Brooklynite, HaitianAmerican, you feel people at home could definitely connect to you.
Yeah, I mean, I came here, my parents brought me here from Haiti when I was about 4 or 5 years old. Grew up, we started in Crown Heights, we moved down to Flatbush, and we've been living there since. I went to the public schools here, all from PS 181 to IS 61 to Clara Barton, and then I went to a publicly funded college, Borough College here. And, growing up, I watched my parents wake up early, go to work, come back late at night, expect to have the homework done, and, the various pressures that are on you as a first, second generation immigrant. Things like that.
Language barrier, they don't know the school system.
There you go. We had a lot of that. So I definitely understand the immigrant perspective. But being more of a Haitian American, I also understand what it means to have the what you would call more mainstream American struggles because of the different lifestyle that I got to live, because of the different interactions that I got to have. Mm-hmm. And when I go out to my district, that's reflected. The diversity is reflected there itself. But although I'll knock on a door and there'll be one lady who speaks to me exclusively in Haitian Creole, then there'll be another lady who speaks to me who's a Hispanic who speaks to me in English, and there'll be another Caribbean person, and then a few blocks down there'll be a Jewish person. I'm starting to see a pattern of common issues regardless of
and let's go into that groups. Because that's something we get questions sent over to us and be like, some people are really wondering, are my issues unique to you?
And that's the thing. I think despite our diversity, the common issues that we have are far greater than our diversity. Our diversity is beautiful. It's good food, right? But the diversity does not separate us enough to cause us not to work together on the issues. And one key issue, as I was discussing with you earlier, is the issue of housing. The housing issue permeates all members of our society. It doesn't matter if you're black or white in this district, what island you're from, what language you speak. The housing pressure is intense, and I should stress that it goes across economic lines. So middle class
Really?
people are struggling, working class people are struggling, and our working poor have always been struggling.
Yes.
So it's pressure on them, pressure on everybody, and it goes all around.
So what's really being done for that? I mean, of course, being on both sides, I've been a rentee, I've owned parts of property as well. I know from the landlord's perspective, you have to deal with delinquent tenants.
There you go.
From a tenant's point of view, well, things aren't being done in the buildings aren't being maintained, right hands, there's so many different things that are going on. How do we find a happy medium then to really bridge this gap where the tenants could be happy and the landlords and everybody could really enjoy being in Brooklyn without having to move to be able to afford to live in New York?
What we have here are two issues. We have a demand problem and a supply problem. By a demand problem, by a supply problem, let's start with the supply problem. We need more housing. Period.
Affordable housing.
We need more affordable housing.
There are housing.
Yeah. We need housing across the entire spectrum. We need more market rate, and we definitely need more affordable, right? Mm-hmm. And then we have what I'm calling a demand problem, which is normally in a city you get some growth through people coming in. We're getting massive growth from people coming in. Everybody wants to live in New York. Everybody wants to live in Brooklyn, and that's where you're feeling the most pressure. So there are people who grew up in Iowa and Wisconsin who are coming here because they watch friends growing up and they're like, oh, I want to live there. They've known about this Brooklyn place, and Brooklyn's become a cooler place. And there are people in our community who were here in the 80s and 90s who went through the struggle, who helped clean up the block, who helped maintain the homes, who helped bring back the communities from urban blight, who want to live here as well. And I feel like there has to be a happy medium. And not everybody's going to be completely happy, but there's a lot more we can do, right?
And I just feel like those who have really been here, done the struggle, and trust me, I love tourists. I love the transplants who
Mm-hmm.
come here. Absolutely, I'm totally welcoming of it. But I feel like sometimes they just come in and they're walking into when everything's great. They can't relate to any of the struggles. Yet, like you said, those people who did the struggle and stayed and maintained and didn't sell their home. My family has had their brownstone in Bed-Stuy since the late 50s, never sold it. They went through the good Brooklyn, the bad Brooklyn, the crack Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
to back to more of the cleaned up Brooklyn.
Yeah, and I understand the frustration behind that because let's be honest, there is a lot of infrastructure work that could have been done that was needed 10, 15 years ago when you didn't have this influx. That should have been done, that wasn't done. So when my neighbors say to me things like, hey, why are they building this now? Why are they cleaning this up now? Why are they repairing this now? When we've been asking them to do it for 10, 15 years, and now that other people are coming in, other fellow Americans are coming in, we're upset. People are upset because essentially they feel like it's not being done. It wasn't being done for them. It's being done in preparation of other people coming in. My view is this. Everybody deserves service because we all pay taxes. This is a community, right?
Josh, hold that thought.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Josh Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, as we were saying before the break, everybody deserves service.
Yes, everybody deserves service because we're all tax-paying citizens. Whether you're paying real estate tax or you're paying sales tax, you're paying those taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And more of our resources and our effort needs to be put into building this affordable housing. I actually believe that New York City is large enough to take in the influx and maintain the people who are currently here. Because in order for the city to work, you actually need every one of us.
It's true. And remember, the luster used to be you want to live in the city. Every girl, like was a teenager watching Sex in the City, and every girl wanted to be, you want to, work at a great firm, live in Manhattan. It's the dream.
Your American dream, yeah.
It's one of those dreams. And then you realize you get into the workforce, you're like, okay, it's $4,000 to live in a square.
Yes.
And now I feel like Brooklyn's borderline getting like that.
Yeah, I think it has always been the destiny of Brooklyn to be what it's becoming in terms of the second Manhattan. It was always in the cards for us. It just took longer than people, because there was a time when people didn't want to live in the cities, and so it went through that dip. But it's coming back, and it's a long-term dip. And again, what I think we need to focus on in both a city, state, and national level is how do we make housing affordable? Now, one thing that I think we could go back to is there was this thing called there's a type of housing known as Lama, and it
Okay.
was it's essentially government help to build that housing, and for whatever reason, it seems that Washington and maybe even our state government doesn't have an appetite for that. Well, we need to have that because Lama predominantly was middle class housing. What do you think middle class people do when they can't find housing for themselves? They then go further down the ladder and further out and say, well, this housing is available. So when you have the middle class dollar competing with the working class dollar, which one do you think is going to win out? And so, we know that there are things that work because we've done them before. So we need to, dust off those old plans, look at the policies that did work and bring them back. It can't all be free market rate housing, because market rate housing essentially means if you don't have the dollars, you cannot be here. And on the other end, people don't have the dollars to be here because they're not getting paid decent enough wages. You're not going to be able to live in the city on $8, $9 an hour. It's just impossible. Everybody in that family would have to work to pay rent, from the father,
And
the
that's
son, all
just
the way
to
down
pay
to the
rent.
baby. Yeah. So we need to, I believe, if you look at my campaign slogan, it's called Opportunity for All. And I'm a Democrat, a hardcore Democrat. And I believe that no matter who you are, race, creed, religion, orientation, you should be able to pursue your American dream. If you don't have a house to live in and you don't have a decent job that pays well, all of that other stuff, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you want to be a fashion designer or a doctor. All of that stuff, you can't focus on it because you're just worried about eating and paying rent.
Exactly. I wanted to go in a little bit about your plan, your mandate, running as a district leader, like I said earlier in the show, definitely gets to that local level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to bring, I hope housing is a big part of your mandate on what you'll be doing for your district. But share some of the other plans.
So the basis of everything that I've been doing over the past, I'd say 10 years in my civic engagement work, I usually don't just call it politics, it's civic engagement, is how do I get more local people involved? One of the benefits of being Haitian American is that I was able to convey to Haitian Americans, and they're a significant portion of the population, listen,
had some
we need
good
to come in.
numbers.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, right? We need to come in at our voice, because it's all, this district is so big and it's so diverse, but if you don't have everyone's voice and everybody's input, then it's hard to get things done. So I've been saying not just to the Haitian American community, but everyone. I'm just better able to articulate it to the Haitian American community. Everyone needs to be at community board meetings if you care about housing, if you care about education, if you care about how government is being run. Everyone needs to be at precinct council meetings, because we have had issues with the police, and
I
they're
think more so
emotional.
than now, this is very
Yeah,
important to try
and
to be
we
there.
have the whole Black Lives Matter thing going on, but there needs to be an engagement, and there is an outlet for that.
Are
And
these things posted? Where could they get the information?
well, I'll have it on my Facebook page and my website available, and you can just Google where's my local community board, which precinct do I live in? Like for myself, I live in the 68th precinct, and there's a precinct council meeting at least once a month. And you can go out there, you get to know who the officers are, you get to make known what the issues are in the community. You also get information because I went to